We take you back to an instant classic at the Big House. This show is etched in stone, or at least asphalt. What did you say? I said it's the recap, and it starts right now. Good evening, everyone. Thanks for staying up with us tonight. I am Joe Rychnovsky, and welcome to the Rychnovsky Recap. It will go down as one of the greatest and most memorable games in the history of college football. Last night at the Big House, two storied programs in Michigan and Notre Dame going head-to-head in the first night game ever at Michigan Stadium. The teams did not disappoint. Here we go. This is one of the greatest endings to a game, too. Michigan drove 80 yards in less than 30 seconds, capped off by this Denard Robinson to Roy Rountree go-ahead touchdown. And Michigan shocks Notre Dame in unbelievable fashion, 35-31.
Jordan, did you ever expect, coming from Clay High School, to ever play in a game of this magnitude under the lights?
No, not really. I've never been a part of any game like this, but I'll take it in stride. I'm having the time of my life right now, and I'll take it and run with it.
Kovacs is awesome, isn't he? Don't forget to log on to FoxToledo.com and vote for our Jim White Honda Game of the Week. There are your choices: St. John's at Fremont Ross, Maumee at Bowling Green, Napoleon at Southview, Lake at Eastwood. Polls close about 9 o'clock on Tuesday night, so log on after the program. We're back. He's patrolled the sidelines in Northwood for more than 25 years, and he's not retiring anytime soon. That's a good thing for Kenny James in Northwood. He's a mainstay for the Rangers because he's one reason the team has enjoyed so much success over the years, winning several league titles and advancing to the state playoffs. Tonight, James is in the house, minus his shorts. You wonder what I'm talking about? You'll find out as we go one-on-one. Kenny, it's been a long time. It's been a long time for you at Northwood. 26 years now?
Yep.
What's the key to longevity?
Biggest thing, I think, is I still have a passion for what I'm doing, teaching and coaching and all that. I like working with the kids. One thing somebody asked me a while back is what keeps you, and I said that the people I work with still stay the same age. I like the fact I'm around young people. They keep me energized, and the faculty we have out there in the administration, we have really good people. I've been lucky to work in a school district where the people in charge have been really good to work for, and I've got a lot of cool people I work with on the faculty. So I just I get up every day and enjoy going to work, whether it's teaching or coaching or whatever part of the job I'm doing. I just still like what I do.
Well, and for you, too, it's a family affair.
Yeah.
I mean, your wife teaches at the school. She helps out on Friday nights.
Mm-hmm.
Your son, Nate, who played for you a few years back, is on your coaching staff and helping out. And your daughter comes all together. I mean, it's really a tight-knit family, not only just the community of Northwood, but the James family in general. Yeah,
and, one of the cool things we have is we had a bunch of former players come down on the sideline and watch the game, just kind of cheering us on. And some of them, they're holding their kids, just guys who graduated maybe 10 years ago that come back to the game still to see us and come in the locker room. That's one of the cool things for me, is just to see the young men we've had over the years, how they've turned into responsible adults, good husbands, good fathers, guys, with good jobs and things, that come back and want to see us and want to keep that connection. That's one thing too. Like you mentioned, it's a family affair, but not just with, with my wife and my children, but with all the guys that have played for us and the coaches I've had over the years. I've had a lot of guys who have been around with me for a while now, and so that's a pretty cool part of the job too.
How'd you get into coaching?
Actually, when I was younger, I wanted to be an architect. My high school coach, Chip Hollenbach, I don't know, thought that's coaching's an avenue I should take or should look into. So he kind of got me started on it, and once I got into it, just loved it. Once I got out of college and I started at Lima Central Catholic, and really enjoyed that. I was a tennis coach and assistant basketball coach for Bob Segerson, and it was an interesting job, let me tell you. I don't know if the tennis kids were real fond of me, because we kind of ran like football practice a little bit without the contact, the conditioning and all that. I don't think they liked that too well, but I enjoyed that, and I wanted to get into public school, and get a little more financial stability. I really enjoyed my time at LCC. But my wife Chris had gotten an English, English degree, and she worked at the Lima Art Association when we were down there. And she saw that I liked education. She decided she wanted to get into that as well. So we wanted to get near a bigger city, like a Toledo, where she could go to Bowling Green or UT, or down in Columbus, or somewhere where she could get near a state university and finish her teaching degree. So we ended up, just by accident, one of the guys I coached with in Lima knew a guy from Rossford and said the Northwood job was open. He didn't want to apply for it. I applied for it at the end of June. And about 3 days later, we were on the move. And we've been there ever since.
Yeah, now nearly 3 decades later.
Yeah.
You've had so much success. I mean, you look back at your teams, and it's another good start to this year.
Yeah.
What is it about your coaching style, and what is it about the tradition of Northwood, or just the fact that you've been there so long? I guess the stability of having a head coach that's been there, that knows the kids, that knows the families.
We work really hard at recruiting our own kids. I know the recruiting is always a dirty word in high school sports, but when we get to know the kids in our youth program, our youth teams play on Sunday. Me and several other coaches typically would show up at the youth at the youth games. We get to know those kids. We get to know the junior high kids. We're pretty closely connected to that. We've got a stabilized program from top to bottom. They run our system in the younger grades, and so the kids know what to expect. So it becomes a matter of plugging people into positions. It's a little easier to do when you know the kids. And secondly, we've got good players. I found out long ago when I was a young coach that you're a lot smarter when you have good players.
One of the trademarks of a Kenny James team is not only a tough, rugged, powerful team, but a guy that's roaming the sidelines in shorts. I mean, where are your shorts tonight, Coach?
It started when I was an assistant coach. When I was younger, my high school coach really impressed upon us the idea of mental toughness. Chip Hollenbeck always, we were, practices were 4 hours long, and they were always live and everything. He was big on mental toughness. And so when I first started coaching, I was coaching the offensive line at Lime Central Catholic, and I wanted those guys to be tough. So back then I didn't even wear a coat. It was a little bit crazy. But I wear short sleeves, and I was running around out there freezing my butt off. And my wife's aunt and uncle lived in Bluffton, and one week we were playing Bluffton. It was snowing, and we were on the visitor sideline, and her uncle told her, at Christmas that time, that year or whatever, that he was sitting beside a guy in the stands, and the guy says, "Look at that maniac over there." And he said, I didn't want to say anything, but he said, "Yeah, that's my niece's husband." So he didn't want to admit it. And it just stuck. I started wearing a coat after a few years, but it's not as bad as it looks if you keep your feet and your hands and your head warm.
How many more years are you going to keep doing this?
It's a good question. When my son graduated, my son and my daughter graduated, people started asking me, "Hey, I don't know if they were hoping, but you're going to hang it up yet?" And I haven't hit that point yet. I don't know. I might at the end of this year. Who knows? I might just say, I don't feel like doing this anymore. I don't know, but I doubt that. Right now, I still really enjoy it. I could see myself going another 10 or 15 years, if the school district wants me, if we're still doing well.
Well, you've had a great run, and I'm sure you're going to finish off this year and have a great year as we move through September and October and November and get into the playoffs. Best of luck. I've known you for years.
Thanks,
I appreciate you
coming
in, and
no problem.
Go out and get them.
We will. Thanks.
We'll step aside, but don't stray far. We're fixing the streets. No potholes on Rychnovsky's watch. Trust me. That's next. It might not feel like it outside right now, but fall and winter are vastly approaching. And for members of Toledo's street crew, that means a good winterizing is in store, which makes for the perfect FOX Challenge.
Quite a few streets in the inner city: Millburn, Troy Hill, Cone, and the list goes on and on.
Theodis Ware has a lot of work to do. In a sense, he's an artist, a painter with an unlimited canvas, leaving his mark throughout the streets of Toledo. Now, you got to be pretty steady to do this.
Yeah, I'm pretty good. I do it a lot.
He's sealing the cracks so they never come back.
It actually seals a crack for like salt and snow and ice, so it can't get back in there and pop the asphalt back out.
Sean Jordan has the easy job. You always do the sweeping, man?
No. Actually, we take turns.
Still, it can be quite dangerous. Here, safety is the key.
It runs off the propane. It's just like your grill at home. It keeps the flame going until we shut it down. It just turn the valves off, just like a stove.
You ever got burned, man?
Yes, I have.
Tell me about that. What happened?
I actually wasted some on my arm putting the kettle back up.
Otis got burned, man.
Yeah, I did too.
What happened?
That thing right there blew up on me.
When, man?
Yeah, probably about 3-4 years ago.
You got any battle scars?
Yeah, it burnt my hand up, but it healed up pretty good.
And then there's the weather.
Rain, snow, heat. I mean, it can be a tough job at times. Hey, Joe, do you think you can patch the streets?
Take the Fox challenge.
Why, sure. I've got some artistic ability, and I'm certainly not afraid of an honest day's work. My arms are kind of getting tired.
Well, they do after a long day.
Now for the fun part.
I'll put it all the way around the square. Just keep going. Just keep following that square all the way around. There you go. You might blend in.
Am I doing good?
Yeah, keep going. A little more experience would help, though.
Oh, Joe!
Yeah, now they know who did it.
I've left my mark. Yes, I have. Eric Page left his mark over the shoe last night. We'll be back to look back at an incredible display. Oh, think about. Stay with us.
Too many penalties. Special teams hurt us again with the return kick or return punt. So, you know, again, it comes back to when you're playing in games like this, you've got to make sure that we're playing all three phases of the game.
Even so, Coach Beckman and the Rockets made things mighty interesting as Toledo nearly toppled Ohio State at the shoe yesterday. We take a look back and more as we rewind with Ralphie's, because upon further review. The week started with an overseas trip for former Olympian Devin Vargas. Vargas has not fought in nearly 2 years, but on Monday left for a trip for Poland where he'll fight on the undercard of Vitaly Klitschko's heavyweight title bout. If Vargas wins, he may get a big-time contract with Main Event Promotions. On Tuesday, as Ohio State preps for Toledo, will be a strange game for former St. John's standout Jack Muhart, who grew up going to Rocket games, but now he plays for the Bucks.
Pretty cool, just because, you know, I did watch him growing up, so it's cool to be able to play against him. My dad attended UT Law School, so he's an alumni.
So who's you rooting for this week?
I hope he's rooting for me, but who knows?
And on Wednesday, the OHSAA is investigating Whitmer High School for possible recruiting violations in athletics. But administrators, coaches, and school officials claim they followed the letter of the law.
They have to provide 2 forms of residency. They have to prove their custody to us. We go through that, and then if there's a concern or a complaint raised, we do a home visit. Based on that, we're fully confident that they live in the residences in the district.
And on Thursday, we get you ready for the weekend football tailgating with Perrysburg's Chuck Long, who's got a tasty barbecued bacon feta burger ready to go. And on Friday, high school football, it's our game of the week. Perrysburg taking on Central Catholic. This one all Irish. Amir Edwards looking good, just bowling over the defender. Irish over the Yellow Jackets, 25-7. And on Saturday, Toledo Rockets getting after the Buckeyes in Columbus. Eric Page, 12 receptions, 145 yards, couple scores, but the Rockets come up just a little short. Ohio State holds off Toledo, 27-22. And at BGSU, quarterback Matt Schultz threw for 5 touchdowns. Falcons all over Morgan State, 58-13 to start the year at 2-0. And that's upon further review. Our final break is here, but for the 2011 edition of the Rychnovsky Recap, this might be the best game ever. We're back to take a look back when we return. And we're back finally tonight. Despite all the problems off the field in college football, last night the Big House showed the entire nation why the game still reigns supreme. After trailing for most of the game, Michigan came back to drive 80 yards in less than 30 seconds and scored a touchdown to snatch victory from the jaws of defeat against Notre Dame. Chris Podorowski, or Pops, he's right there as we know him around these parts, covered it for us, and here's his look back.
lobs it up in the end zone to Roundtree. He adjusts to the ball. He's interfered with. He makes the catch. Touchdown, Michigan!
All righty, that is the Rychnovsky Recap. I'm Joe Rychnovsky. I want to thank all the good people behind the scenes that work their tails off to make this show awesome. Couldn't do it without you, my friends. We'll see you back here tomorrow night. Have a great evening. So long. Chris, get over here quick. This is Pox. He did the last story. He covered Michigan. We love him. So long.